Greetings, Oak Park. In Hebrews chapter 10, we're exhorted really in two main ways. Number one, to hold fast, hold tightly to the confession of our hope. And then number two, to not neglect meeting together, but stirring up one another for love and good deeds. Well, certainly during this last season that we've been in that continually lingers with COVID, that's proved more difficult than maybe in previous times. And I want to encourage you that we're trying to do all that we can to foster that church community and commitment and make it easier for you to continue to hear the word and see one another, fellowship with one another, and hold fast to the confession of our hope. And so to do that, we're starting this Sunday, we're going to reintroduce childcare at our 11 o'clock service. I know that's been one thing that many of you have been waiting on before you return. And so we're going to have childcare at the 11 o'clock service. All our volunteers are going to be helping us out, following social distancing guidelines, and we'll have things ready for you and ready for your children to be dropped off. And remember, that will be from nursery all the way up to pre-K. Also this Sunday, I'm going to be starting a new series. We won't be jumping right into Matthew, but starting a new series called Living Christianly. With all the turmoil that we see in our world, in our nation, even right across the river from us, with the political climate that we're in, I really feel like we need to reassert, lay some foundations for how do we live as Christians in such an uncertain world. And so we're going to be looking at subjects like, what does it mean to be made in the image of God? What was God's design for the family? What's the purpose of the church? And how's the church the hope of the world? We're going to be considering the beauty that God has put on display through work and vocation. What's the role of the state and government? We're even going to look at our mission as a church and then speak about what is true biblical justice. We're going to be covering all these things over the next 7 weeks. And so here's my exhortation to you. Maybe throughout this COVID season, you found yourself maybe becoming a little sluggish. Maybe you have neglected meeting together, not just here in person, but maybe even tuning in online. Well, maybe this August you could re-up and recommit, maybe firm up those foundations with us and say, hey, for the next 7 weeks, if I'm able and I'm in maybe a safe, in the safe category, not in the vulnerable category, we're going to commit to being here on Sunday mornings. And we're going to commit to being here for 7 weeks straight. Maybe you can't do that. Maybe you're still in that category that needs to stay home. Well, I want to encourage you, then block out that time, 11 a.m., guard it like you would if you were going to be here in person, and commit to worshiping and putting yourself under the preaching and teaching of the Word. So that's where we're going to begin this Sunday. But I want to let you know at least one other step that we're going to be trying to make things a little more normal and continue to invest in you as a church. Looking forward, a month later, the first Sunday in September, it is our desire to reintroduce a discipleship hour from 9 to 10 o'clock. That's going to look a little bit differently than maybe how we remember it in the past, just because we have to adjust for lower numbers. And that'll mainly affect our adult discipleship classes. We just won't have as many options, but we're going to have discipleship throughout all ages, and we'll be getting more info out to you. So at 9 to 10, starting in September, we're planning, holding those plans loosely, but we're planning to have discipleship hour at that time. And then for the worship service, that'll start at 10:30, and it is our desire to go back to one service time. However, we're going to have an overflow in the gym. We'll be piping in the service in the gym, but that'll allow us to still be as one body, participate in the Lord's Supper together, while we'll be split up and being able to manage social distancing guidelines. You'll be able to worship together with people even if you're in the overflow room. And so we'll be preparing for that over the next 5 weeks leading up into September. But once again, as we're making adjustments to serve you, how are you making adjustments to serve your fellow brothers and sisters? Are you thinking about holding fast to the confession of your hope and thinking about how to stir up your fellow brothers and sisters to love and good deeds by not neglecting to meet with them? So I want to exhort you, whatever way you can, to re-up, to make sure you're holding fast to the confession and that you're gathering under the preached word. And I hope to see you this Sunday.